The sweet, cloying smell of oils and perfumes fills an ancient Egyptian chamber. But behind the fragrance lies a secret few would expect. Among jars of honey and alabaster pots of ointment sits a darker ingredient: crocodile dung. Dried and powdered, ready to be blended into creams and applied to the skin. To us, it is revolting, but for centuries, animal excrement was a respected ingredient in both medicine and beauty care. From the Nile's banks to medieval European pharmacies, dung held an unlikely place in the history of healing and cosmetics. The practice was so widespread that German physicians later coined a word for it: dreckapotheke, literally, dirt pharmacy. In ancient Egypt, crocodile feces were thought to contain protective powers. Mixed with honey or oils, they were rubbed onto the skin as cosmetics or used as contraceptives, smeared into the body to ward off pregnancy. The logic was not grounded in biology, but in symbolism. The crocodile, fierce and feared, lent its strength and vitality through its waste. Elsewhere, dung appeared in remedies for everything from infections to headaches. In Greece and Rome, physicians recommended animal feces and ointments to draw out toxins or stop bleeding. Pliny the Elder cataloged recipes involving pigeon droppings, cow dung, and goat feces. The belief was that waste carried the essence of the animal and could transfer its qualities to the patient. This principle persisted for centuries, combining superstition with early medical theory. By the Middle Ages, European healers turned to dung as a standard tool of the apothecary's trade. Cow manure, sometimes dried and mixed with herbs, was applied to wounds, thought to cleanse and promote healing. Pig dung, when smeared on skin, was recommended for infections. Goose droppings were spread on boils and sores. Even human waste found its way into medical recipes, though it was usually reserved for desperate or fringe remedies. To a medieval mind, waste products were not revolting. They were resources in a world with few other options. Dung also seeped into cosmetic traditions. Beyond Egypt's crocodile creams, donkey dung was used in some cultures for skin care, thought to smooth wrinkles and rejuvenate the complexion. Cleopatra herself was rumored to have bathed in donkey milk, and while dung wasn't confirmed in her routine, others in her time believed it carried potent properties. For peasants and nobles alike, feces were part of the arsenal of substances, alongside herbs, resins, and minerals used to stave off decay, disease, and age. Of course, these practices were not harmless. Modern science shows that applying animal feces to open wounds risks introducing dangerous bacteria, often worsening infections rather than curing them. Some cases of apparent success may have been due to natural antiseptics in accompanying ingredients like honey or wine, not the dung itself. Yet for pre-modern societies, the results seem convincing enough to keep the tradition alive. The persistence of dung in medicine reveals much about the mindset of past centuries. Healing was often symbolic as much as practical. If an animal was strong or resilient, its waste was thought to contain part of that essence. The transformation of filth into medicine also mirrored spiritual beliefs. Corruption could be turned into purity, death into life, decay into healing. To smear dung on a wound was not an act of desperation but a ritual of renewal. By the Enlightenment, skepticism toward dung-based remedies grew. Scientific advances in chemistry, anatomy, and germ theory exposed the dangers of contamination. Apothecaries slowly abandoned fecal ingredients, replacing them with more controlled substances. Yet traces of the tradition lingered well into the 18th and even 19th centuries, especially in rural communities where folk medicine remained powerful. Today, the idea of rubbing animal dung on our faces or wounds is horrifying. Yet history reminds us that what we call disgusting was once considered divine. The story of dreckapotheke is not just about strange recipes. It is about human resilience and the lengths people will go to find healing and beauty, even in the most unlikely of places. From crocodile excrement to goose droppings, dung once carried the promise of health, youth, and protection. Revolting or not, it remains a striking chapter in the strange history of medicine and cosmetics.